Good afternoon and welcome to Your Stocks. I'm Vaishali Parekh and the market is truly celebrating today. It has been a steady morning ever since, the word open, and we're still holding up with a 126-point gain. Mid caps, small caps, all of the day's high right now. Even the banks, which, pulled back a little bit earlier in the day, have now moved up quite significantly. And this has been a broad-based rally. All sectoral indices, barring just the PSU Bank Index, are in the green right now, and the advanced decline also at nearly 3:1. So it's been a solid day. Let's invite our guests on the show, and then we can get to all of the queries that you have all sent in. We have Vaishali Parekh from Prabhudas, Lilladher joining us to take us through how things are really looking on the charts. And we have Shahina, Mukadam, who's an independent market expert, to answer all of your stock-related queries. Shahina, Vaishali, thanks a lot, as always, for taking the time and joining us on this show today. The first query, I'm going to get straight to it because there's so many which have come through. This one comes in from Sakshi Ahuja, who's writing in from Chandigarh. Now, she holds 30 shares of Tata Steel, which she bought at 80 rupees a piece. So she's making good money on this because it's currently around 120 on Tata Steel. She wants to know if she can buy other steel stocks. Shahina, coming to you first, take us through your call on Tata Steel, and also what would you suggest on the other basket? I mean, Tata Steel's numbers came through just a while ago and quite disappointing over there.
I agree. Actually, Tata Steel numbers were pretty disappointing, but the disappointment was more because, as you know, they are international business, UK, Europe. Actually, that dragged down the profits. At the same time, what I see is that the India business did well. So if one is looking to continue to see, this investor has invested in Tata Steel at very low levels. So I would say if he wants to continue holding, he can continue holding because his cost price is low, and he can hold for the long term. These cycles come and go, and we may see some restructuring on the European and UK front in the medium to longer term. Having said that, if you would prefer to switch, be more concentrated on the domestic business, which for steel is likely to do pretty well over the next 1 to 2 years also, I think he can switch to JSW Steel. There, what has happened is that the domestic business does account for much more than Tata Steel. If we saw the last quarter numbers also, they actually made a profit, and they maintained their profits, in fact, improved their profits with better margins because of lower costs. We have seen, coking coal prices having come down. So I think that benefited them. And now we are seeing the demand for steel stabilizing because China is coming back and the prices are stabilizing. So I think going forward, JSW Steel, in my view, may give you in the shorter term or medium term a slightly better return than Tata Steel. So he can switch.
Okay, he can switch to JSW Steel. Coming to you, Vaishali, how is this one looking on the charts? And are there any other steel stocks that you would recommend over a Tata Steel at the moment?
Very good afternoon, and thanks for having me on the show. So actually, I would say overall, if you see technically, the metal index has taken a good support. And I think even when we talk about Tata Steel, so technically, I think the worst is factored in. So 110 acts as a very good support. And if he has patience, I think this stock in times to come will go to 135, 140. And I do agree with China, JSW Steel, even fundamental backup and technically well placed. So I would agree to have a buy recommendation on JSW Steel. But I would also look at non-ferrous metals like Hind Copper, Hindalco. They would be good buying at these levels. Technically very well placed. I think metals should show good run-up from here on. So I'm bullish overall on the whole metal pack.
Okay, got that. That is helpful advice. The next query comes in from Aman, who's writing in from Chandigarh. He says he has shares of Maruti. He has 4 shares, which he bought at 4,000. He's making huge profits on this. Clearly, Maruti is over 10,000, like we know, around 10,200. He's saying, should he take money off the table, or is there more to go over here? Shahina, we got the sales figures as well for October. Looks like the company is going from strength to strength, right? Even the SUV part, which has been so hot, has grown very well. Do you think, considering someone has made such big profits, it's good to take some of that off?
Well, this is a portfolio stock, and the numbers were robust, and we are expecting it to remain so, in fact improve with raw material prices coming down, the availability of chips improving, and the volume growth 18 to 20% improvement in margins. I think one can continue holding. No need to book profits as of now.
Okay, that is the word from the management as well, that things will only get better from here on. We spoke with them just a few days ago and they were sounding quite positive. Shahina, would you agree with that view? Sorry, Vaishali, would you agree with that view?
Yes, I would definitely say so. I would say please hold this stock and in fact even buy it decline because we have a projected target coming up to 11,500 to 12,000. So for now, it's definitely a positive view.
Okay, positive on Maruti, both of our guests over there. The next query is from Akash, who writes in from Mumbai. He holds 1,500 shares of L&T Finance Holdings at around 136. He also has 300 shares of Jindal Saw, which he bought at 369, and he wants to know the future prospects of both of his investments. Vaishali, coming to you on this, I don't know how long he's willing to stay invested from here on, but how are both of these stocks looking technically?
L&T Finance has really been outperforming and we've seen a steady upward move coming in. So I would say definitely hold this stock because in times to come, if market supports us and we are in sync with this view, this could likely go to 160 to 170. And same is the case with Jindal. So we saw a good rally coming in and it should continue for near term as well. I would say keep a trailing stop loss in Jindal So for a target of 500, 510.
Okay, got that. Shahina, what are your thoughts on both of these investments? And do you think it makes sense to stay invested in these, or would you have other picks over his current investments?
Well, I think Jindal saw he can continue to remain invested. We saw very good numbers, and also valuations are very attractive. If you see, it is at EV by EBITDA, it's just about I think 4 times, and 1 year forward. And even if you look compare it with the turnover, also it's pretty attractive. So one can continue to hold. As far as L&T Finance goes, I agree that the stock has been going up and it's given a good return if you see the recent past. But if you take the longer term view for this stock, like 5 years, 7 years, it's been an underperformer in the overall NBFC space. And going forward, I think it will consolidate, or maybe I think it will underperform the rest of the some of the better stocks like maybe Chola Mandalam or even in fact Geo, because if you see they are reducing their wholesale book, and this is being compensated by higher retail book. So what will happen is that it may result in higher provisions, and also given the fact that RBI is tightening its provisioning norms for for the financial sector. So I think it could result in some bit of softening of profitability, as well as higher costs, the funding costs. So to that extent, I would take this rally maybe at slightly higher levels because there is a bounce and switch.
Okay, maybe you could switch and get out of these investments. The next query is interesting because this is on SBI, which has come through. Pavan Mehta writes in from Haryana. He says he has 20 shares of SBI, which he bought at 180. Now, he's asking whether he should hold this or sell at current levels. Of course, he's made good profits on this. And, Vaishali's obviously gotten in at a very exciting and a very low price. But that said, how do you see SBI moving forward on the charts?
I would say, well, continue holding. In fact, I would be saying that buy at every decline because, of course, in the recent corrective move, we saw the stock moving right from 540 levels to now 574. So we may see a bit of volatility here and there, but I would say that, yes, once we see the stock moving above 585, we are looking at targets of 620, 650, and so on. So I don't think this should be considered as a trading stock, but do look out for opportunities in decline to be added to your portfolio.
Okay, you can add more of SBI. Shahina, would you agree with that? We also got the earnings this Saturday and it's been better than estimated on all counts. Yes, there was a margin decline, but not at all as much as was feared.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree it's a portfolio stock and one should continue holding and at dips. Basically, there was, slight why I think the stock is not performing, post numbers is there was a slight disappointment in terms of their return on assets, which was expected to be like around 1.2 and it came down lower than that. At the same time, I think, going forward, things should improve and, very strong balance sheet provision cover. PCR is almost, I think, over 90%. So their balance sheet is strong and one can, hold.
Okay, so he's made good money on this one and both of our guests agreeing that this is one to hold and you can even add more at these levels. The next one comes in from Mayank Gupta, who's written in from Bhopal. He says he has 100 shares of Sultan Energy, which he bought at 30. He wants to know whether to add more or to sell these shares. This is definitely a stock which got a lot of attention just for the way that it was moving. Vaishali, he's also, making good money. He got in at 30, so obviously not at the beginning of the rally. But do you think, considering it's moved this much, it can still do lots more?
I would not think so, because I'm saying, though, we've seen this one-way rally coming right from rupees 8 now at 35. And technically, it is showing a bit of exhaustion. I mean, I would say there is a negative divergence. So I would say at least book partial profit. And once the stock, if it corrects and comes towards 28 or so, it could be added at those levels, because that could help him to lower the cost also, book profit, and yet go for the next round of momentum.
Okay, and Shahina, does this kind of over 300% rally in 1 year make you nervous?
Well, yeah, but it also reflects that, it's more of a turnaround stock. And, they had the rights last year in FY22, which has actually strengthened the balance sheet a bit. It's still negative net worth. At the same time, I would agree with Vaishali that, if the investor has, he's making a little bit of money, so he can partially take profits off the table, or he can hold with a strict stop loss, I would say close to 30, his buying price close to 30. So any return over and above that he should get, but I don't think he should try not making losses in the stock, because it still remains a high risk stock.
Okay, got that. That is Sultan Energy. Even today, it's up around 5%. In the last 6 months, it's seen a 315-point move. Shahina, Vaishali, we have to take a short break, but we'll be back in just 2 minutes to answer all your stock queries. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Your Stocks here on CNBC-TV18, and we still have Shahina and Vaishali to answer all of your queries which have come through. Now, let's get to the next one, because this is on Equitas Small Finance Bank. Sanjay Jain is saying that he has 30 shares of Equitas Small Finance Bank at 50. The stock is currently almost at 100, and he's a long-term investor, so he wants to know the prospects of his investments. Vaishali, this stock in the last 1 year has almost doubled, right? And he's also got in at a good price, luckily. Do you think there's lots more to go in this one, considering that he's willing to stay invested?
I would think so, because I see no exhaustion, even on a weekly or a monthly chart. So I think this stock is all poised to go towards 120. So definitely stay invested.
Okay, stay invested. Shahina, what would you suggest on Equitas Small Finance Bank? Making good money, but can he make some more?
Yeah, I think he should continue staying. The numbers were okay, but the stock looks good even from here for the medium to longer term.
Okay, so both of our guests saying that you can stay in this one. You've made good money. The stock is almost double from the price where he got in, but he can continue to hold. The next query is from Karthik, who writes in from Chennai. He holds 600 shares of Kirloskar Electric at 116. He wants to know the prospects of the stock from a medium-term view, from a medium-term perspective. Shahina, what do you suggest on this one? Say he is willing to hold for a couple of years. Do you think it makes sense to stay in this one?
See, it's a turnaround stock, so from losses, they have started making some small profits. Having said this, I think I would classify it as a very high-risk stock, because while the promoter holds 50%, 3/4 of it, or I think 75% of it is pledged. So there's a double risk actually, and it's not a very high margin business. So I would take this opportunity and maybe, hold it with a stop loss or exit.
Okay, got that. This stock has moved up over almost 80% in just this year. What do you think, Vaishali? Do you think that, some profits should be taken off the table on this?
I would say so, because actually, technically, there is no trend as such. It's just consolidating. So if the support levels of 103, 105 breaks, then we would see some more erosion coming in. So better sit on some cash. And however, hold partial, because if the stock moves above 116 or so, at least, he gets a chance to exit at higher levels of 133 to 135. So that would be my strategy.
Okay. Unfortunately, I think the buy price is also quite a lot It's quite high, so he's got in only at around 116. So it's currently trading a little bit below that buy price. We're going to try to squeeze in one last query. This is from Dhruv Kapoor, who writes in. He is holding 20 shares of JK Lakshmi Cement at 400. He asks how long he can hold this. Is it a good one to keep holding or not? Clearly, he's making profits on this one. He got in at 400. The stock is currently at 782. Shahina, the earnings also came through just last week and it was looking very strong. I think the stock also had a big rally on that day. What would you suggest on this one? Keep holding?
Yeah, I think there's still another 10% upside possible. Stock has rallied, but I think still it could look good because numbers were good and they're reducing their debt. So I think that could be another positive going forward.
Okay, that is on JK Lakshmi Cement, and you could see a little bit more over here as well. Vaishali, is that your thoughts on this one as well, that you can hold for a bit, even considering that he's made this kind of money?
I would agree so, and in fact, I would go a step further. I would even add, because statically, I think it's all set for a new round of momentum. So I think buy it in decline if given a chance at 740, 750. Because in all likelihood, I see the stock going towards 825 and 850 levels. So yes, quite in sync with what Shahina says.
By the way, is there anything else that you like from the cement pack as well that stands out to you and you would look at these levels?
I would look at India Cement actually. Stock has really bottomed out and is showing signs of reversal, because we would start definitely with Ultratech, but that would be a buy and decline because we've already seen the momentum setting in. But India Cement still shows a lot of upside potential, a calculated risk of, stop loss below 200 and look for a target of 240 to 250 levels from here on.
Okay, that is India Cements. Shahina, just one more question to you, because today a lot of these new age companies are really moving well. There's been a bunch of upgrades for Zomato, PB Fintech is up, Nykaa is up, and this entire space seems to have, the mood seems to have changed a little bit. Do you think that at these levels, considering, even the earnings are looking a little bit better than before, would you feel comfortable putting money into these now?
I think one can definitely, buy some of maybe Zomato, PB Fintech, and hold keeping stop losses, because we saw the numbers. So they're definitely showing strong improvement in their EBITDA.
Yeah. Okay, got that. That is all of the queries that have come in. Vaishali, just a word on the market, because, today we did get that gap up start. It held well throughout. I mean, even the broader markets are doing completely well, and there's been no kind of volatility through the day, really. Do you think the trend will shift significantly from here on, considering that, everything that we're seeing in the US as well, the global markets have been good? Do you think that this kind of move can continue?
I would think so. I really feel we are out of the woods. The minute we have crossed 19,250 levels and sustaining above. And if you see, the beauty of it is there is participation coming in almost all sectors, which were showing so much of a lull, but now they are again in momentum. So technically, I would say 19,250 would now be the support. And we would be looking at a target of 19,450, 19,600. So that would be what I would be looking at. And likewise, even Bank Nifty, the support levels right from 42,000 has been elevated to 43,500. And 42,000 to 42,800. And now we are seeing a breakout at 43,500. So that implies there would be some participation coming from the frontline banking stocks too. And Bank Nifty would go towards further high towards 44,500. So overall, yes, a bullish view, and this rally should continue. We are in a Diwali mood.
We are in a Diwali mood, and we love that. We're going to take it with both hands. Vaishali as well as Shahina, thanks a lot for joining us on this show and taking us through all of these queries. But we're going to wind down on that note. Remember, if you have any queries as well, you can email us, and we're going to take those up with our experts. Stay tuned. Closing bell is up next after this short break for the final hour of trade today.